Thank you all. My name is James Donaldson. I'm the lecturer in FE College in South Wales, part of Wales College, so unfortunately I'm very Welsh accent, so we'll start with that great. So what I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit around how we're trying to use technology to help improve sort of staff mental health and well-being, but also that in our learners. So a little bit of context, our college is on sort of 12 different sites. We have 24,000 learners, 5,500 full-time learners. And mental health and emotional well-being is a really big topic for us in our sector, as I'm sure it is right the way across schools, primary schools. And it's a constant thread that keeps coming up through tests, through lots of things about what can we do, what is our role in education, what is the clinical role, how do we mix the two, what can we do to try and preempt things. So there's a huge kind of sort of editorial, lots of opinion around this, but from my perspective, surely that lots of learners are presenting, when even if it's not with sort of diagnosable mental health conditions, that they are in some sort of emotional distress. And therefore, well, how can we help with that, and also help our staff to help our learners with that, because that's equally important as well. So, in terms of sort of self-harm, there's around 6,000 admissions per year to hospitals in Wales, which is quite a high number considering our relative proportion of our population. And the first thing we have to do, I quite like this quote, and this is what we said to our staff around our wellbeing committees, is that you need to look after yourself first. In the same way that it was striking that health and safety legislation always says you must look after yourself, but actually when it comes to helping others, we sort of give over and above to sometimes to the point that we are exhausted, but we can't give anymore. So this is the message that we started with our staff, is to say actually you cannot serve from empty cup, you cannot give what you've not got. And then we moved on to things around just little kind of small action research projects around these kind of 7 key themes that actually the more that you worry about being happy, you're less likely to achieve that. And we worked with sort of Charlie Waller, mental health, trust and mind and all local things to see how we could contextualise this for our learners in FE. Then we moved on to how to connect with people, valuing our time, being kind to others, and whatnot there. So in terms of how then we link that to technology, well, actually we've got a real kind of huge kind of branded campus in centre Cardiff. It's Wi-Fi enabled, we've got all this technology around us, but can we use that to our benefit? And we try to balance that with actually where there's reactive methods, so there's our safeguarding protocols, our team there, our wellbeing officers, but equally we want that to be the last resort. We want to invest at the start of this journey, not at the end, because that's what generally happens in my experience, is that it's the crisis part before someone will intervene to do something, but we want to start that as much as we can. So the one thing that we do, if we scan away, is we've kind of used the idea of an exit ticket. So it's not a new concept to lots of you, but we thought, well, actually could we, bear in mind that our tutors could create a form on Google Docs or MS Forms, which has a kind of exit ticket, and it could say, if you were a learner, actually how are you feeling today? Are you on track? Are you not? That then gives our course tutors and our tutorial leaders real-time data on how that learner is feeling. Now, you may think, oh, well, why don't I have that? Why don't I just ask for instance, course tutor that ask? And I'm sure that they would. But if you're an FE learner and you might not want to just stick your hand up in the class to say, actually, I'm really struggling with my mental health, or actually, the fact that I can't get a travel bus pass is really affecting my attendance, that's why. So, what it looks like is that. So it builds that form and that learner can click whether they're happy, sad, and it gives them an option as to why. It could be that, is it my EME payment, so that was in Wales, our bus pass, is there, you can run that. Not on the left-hand side, you use that data for you as a tutor, a lecturer, to see where things are, which then can help inform your tutorials. So we ask that kind of, well, tell me if you're right, or tell me if you're not, kind of approach. And the second thing we started to do was to see social media in a positive view. So not only developing it with students around sort of online safety and whatnot, but actually getting our staff to develop their PLN events like this. I owe a lot to linking up with Joe for a visit, and lots of things have spiraled out of that in terms of new ideas. So we encourage our staff to encourage in this teach meets and the slow chats and to follow these accounts to get ideas around it. And finally, is how combining teams, so my team supports right away across the curriculum, use technology and apps to support learners, because we don't want to bridge that clinical need, but equally as well, we want to help someone when they come in a state of distress. So we've started to look at things like DAO, which is an app that ranks mood charts, so you can do that. That's quite helpful for us, because if a learner needs to go to the GP, they can get that mood diary, and that period of watchful waiting, which is normally assigned to them, they can show that, and it gives them that kind of baseline data. We've also looked at how we can use Headspace and the Mind app Emoji. And these have been reasonably popular with students because they're accessible to them, they can download them for free. Our staff can easily advise them and show them what to do in relation to them. And the last thing is how we deal with the acute side of things as well. So we've invested a lot of our team and our staff in the mental health first aid and built protocols around the principle of NLP. And the last thing is how we present that information. Because I could write a policy, and we have a mental health policy, and we have a procedure on safeguarding. But actually, if you are that member of staff, that learner is really stressed at 4 o'clock on a Friday, what do you need to do? Because we may have part-time lecturers, we may have fractional lecturers, we may have industry experts that come in. So we looked at, could we present our information in a different way that guides you through that process rather than having to, A, use your judgment, like to see what happens, or get a manual and work through it. So the infographics we got out in the away, so they start here, and we're assuring that member staff to say, we've got this is what you need to do, and guiding them through that process. And this one is in relation to learning to self-harms, and what they need to do, what they need to do next. And third, finally, how they get information for themselves as well to debrief. I think that's a really important thing that we've learned is that actually you as teachers, lecturers take on an awful lot of responsibility for learners. And some way for you to unload and speak about that, whether it's your line manager or customer, has been really important with that. And these have been really well received. It's a great deal of information and easy guidance, accessible, find on our intranets, we can print off and